drone over US and UK military bases. But, here is a big but, it is inside UK. Inside UK airspace. Inside UK, and UK have no idea that these drones were there. We'll explain to you more in a second with all the details. This is a breaking news, but before I move on, just to remind you, most of my viewers are not subscribed. If you're one of them, consider subscribing. Before I actually talk about this drone, Russian drone over UK, I want to actually play this video where Putin is threatening, and this is for the first time, guys, I have seen him so strongly making a statement threatening a world war with a nuclear weapon. Why he did that? Well, it is because, as we now know, that United States and UK and NATO, they have given their words to Zelensky, to Ukraine, of using nuclear weapon against Russia. Means US, NATO, they're going to be supplying Ukraine with nuclear warheads to target Russia. And this is what Putin has to say about that.
We will use every, I would like to emphasize this, every means, every weapon at our disposal. We will not let this happen.
We will not let this happen. Means if Ukraine gets a nuclear weapon from the West, it means Russia will drop one before Ukraine gets one. I want you to take a look at this report a little bit more, where Putin is making it absolutely clear.
I think if we speak about the common sense, if we are involved in the hostilities with the country that is becoming a nuclear power, if that's the case, we will use every, I would like to emphasize this, every means, every weapon at our disposal. We will not let this happen. That's one. Two, such statements can only be done by people who are irresponsible, who are not responsible for anything, and they carry no burden of responsibility on their shoulders, responsibility neither for their country nor for the world in general. Three, if someone is giving something officially, then it means that it is going to be a violation of all the obligations assumed under the non-proliferation of the mass destruction weapons treaties. As for Ukraine itself, we will follow every step of theirs.
Therefore, what it basically means is that if a nuclear weapon is being given to Ukraine, when Putin said, we will follow every step of theirs, it means we will also ready ourselves with nuclear weapon, just like Ukraine would in the case where they get it from US. And we will get one step ahead of Ukraine by exploding one before they explode one on Russia. And Russia made it absolutely clear in the past, this is a red line. If Ukraine gets nuclear weapon, it is equivalent of striking Russia with a nuclear weapon. And that was really the main reason why Russia went to Ukraine with this special military operation. Now, the lady you see is the ambassador, Russian ambassador in the United States, I believe, Zakharova. She said that this is insanity. The West providing Ukraine with a nuclear weapon is insanity and very, very dangerous. Now, let's talk about the other report here about the drones of Russian drones over UK. I have to tell you this. These drones were not confirmed whether they were coming from Russia or Russian made, or if Russia has any affiliation. However, given the recent rhetoric and the action plan Russia has with UK, especially UK, after they used Storm Shadow missile, it is now quite obvious that these drones are from Russia and that Russia is ready to strike on these military bases in US and UK, not just in European countries, Baltic nations or Scandinavian nations, but also a powerful nation of UK. Therefore, it shows their strength and resilience of the Russian forces, how far they want to go, and they are already preparing for a bigger war. They are not preparing to fight these small countries with US bases, military posts there. Russia is taking the war right at the doorstep of this major power of NATO and of the world. Take a listen at this report.
The U.S. Air Force says unidentified drones have been spotted over 4 joint U.S. and U.K. military bases in England. The mysterious drones have repeatedly appeared for over a week now. Stephanie Bennett is live in London. So, Stephanie, this is pretty disturbing. What do we know about these drones?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Julie. I mean, the details are still very limited at this time. We do know that the sightings started last week on November 20th, and they have really ranged in size, in style, and also the amount that we've been seeing over that last week or so. Now, a senior British official confirmed to Fox that the UK has deployed about 60 troops, including counter-drone specialists, to help determine who is behind this and to help defend the air bases amid fears it's a potential coordinated operation. They're describing the incidents as unusual and say this is a serious set of circumstances. Take a look at this map. The bases are spread across England and are all used by U.S. Air Force. Now, the drones have been seen over RAF Fairford, Lakenheath, Mildenhall and Feltwell. For now, civilian police, supported by the UK Ministry of Defence, have launched an investigation. And so far, we're told there has been no impact to residents or infrastructure, and they have not been identified as hostile. Well, a Ministry of Defense spokesperson said we take threats seriously and maintain robust measures at defense sites, but as of right now, it has not had any significant mission impact. At a Pentagon briefing, Fox's chief national security correspondent Jennifer Griffin asked whether the drones appear to be those of hobbyists or something more sinister and concerning.
Again, it would be, premature to draw any conclusions. We've got to see what these are. I mean, it's entirely possible that it could be hobbyists or something else. We just got to look into it. So
this is something very, very suspicious. The US, UK officials, they are not telling us the whole truth. They need time to find out where this drone came from. Was there someone just messing up or having fun? It doesn't make any sense that individuals will fly drones on US military bases. Does it make sense to you? I don't think so. How come, and especially at this time when Russia is gearing up to strike any NATO country, pretty much. That's what they said, that we are at war with NATO. We are at war with the US and UK. I don't think anybody will just go there and fly a drone, and the drone specialists, they will have no idea what is this. They are trying definitely to hide something. Maybe they are just trying to cover up their faults, their shortcomings, that they cannot detect a Russian drone. Who knows? But this is obviously a new escalation, just like the escalation we have seen coming from the NATO, that they will be arming Ukraine with a nuclear weapon. Let's take a listen a little bit more.
Yeah, and for now, the U.S. Air Force says the investigation, of course, is still ongoing. And right now, all eyes are on the skies. Julie?
Okay, yeah, all eyes are on the sky. Good luck with that, because you will have to keep your eyes open on the sky for a very long time now, especially now that Russia is fuming after that news. Let's take a look at this other report from CNN, because according to these reports and multiple other reports, Russia is actually wrapping it up. They are going to be stopping or ending this war very, very soon, not because they're afraid of NATO, but because they have made progress and advances in nearly, quote-unquote, all fronts fighting against Ukraine. Let's take a listen at this video.
Retired Army Major General James Spider Marks and Jill Doherty, CNN contributor and former Moscow bureau chief for CNN. It's good to see you both tonight. Spider, we just heard in Fred's report there, Russia advancing on nearly all front lines. The Biden administration now calling on Ukraine to dramatically lower the recruitment age for Ukrainian soldiers from 25 to 18. General, is that enough to turn this around?
No, it's not enough. I think from the outset, this administration really didn't have a clear strategy in terms of what they wanted to try to achieve as a desired end step, even if that was an interim step toward a larger strategic objective. And so what you see right now is an administration that's on its way out, Ukraine, which has done incredibly well in this fight against the Russians. And clearly, the West has not lost. Ukraine has not lost. This is a narrative that we're going to see more of coming out of Moscow. But what we see now is, I hate to use the term stalemate, but what we see is a very well-defined tactical battle between two combatants And clearly Russia has the law of large numbers. They've got the manpower, they've got the capability to keep piling on. But yet bear in mind, Moscow has lost close to 600,000 young men in this fight. So this is...
Okay, so I have some serious doubts about these numbers. They're definitely inflated. 600,000 military personnel or military, from the Russian forces. I mean, 600,000 in of itself is a military unit. I mean, a lot of the countries, they do not even have 600,000 military, and Russia doesn't have that many population. I mean, the country is huge. It's the biggest country in terms of its borders and all that. But 600,000? No, I don't think so. But the West are they miscalculating the whole thing? Looks like to me they are. They are underestimating Russia's ability, their capabilities. Obviously, this guy, Spider James, is a military general for the Western countries, and he has become a mouthpiece for the Western media. He's trying to paint a picture to us that Ukraine is winning, Russia is losing, even though Russia is winning in all fronts. But I don't know why these generals, these people like him, they're paid to propagate false messages sometimes, because they make things up in order to be on CNN. I don't know. I mean, this is becoming absolutely dangerous situation. The West is in denial of Russia's ability to strike any country in the world, especially NATO countries. At the same time, they are going to be giving Ukraine nuclear weapon, and at the same time, Ukraine is losing. So if you mix it all up, you see that we are heading to a World War III, thanks to the stupidity of the NATO countries.
Has been an incredibly costly victory from them, maybe the definition of a Pyrrhic victory if they want to use the word victory, but it's not over. The challenge is Russia doesn't have the capacity to further advance into Ukraine and threaten Kyiv and threaten well beyond where they are right now. Again, this is a very tactical fight going on. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, Ukraine is doing a wonderful job resisting that, but they also don't have the capacity to dislocate the Russian forces. So we're going to see this level, this volume of this intensity of fighting through the change of administration, where a negotiated settlement clearly will be on the table.
We're also hearing more and more, right?
James Spider is not very convincing what he is saying here. He doesn't give any evidence, any proof. He's just expressing his opinion that, Ukraine is somehow winning this battle, that they can go, they have limitation, but Russia has limitations too. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Directly from Russia, Russian state TV today saying the U.S. is directly responsible for Ukraine's attacks inside Russia. Also this, mocking the U.S. Take a look.
Biden pardoned 2 turkeys. It's so touching, right? Now count how many people you've killed in 2 years. With your help, with your participation and provocation, you're killing millions of people and pardoned 2 turkeys.
Jill, there is an escalation in the rhetoric in what we're hearing from Russians, saying the U.S. is now directly involved in the conflict. How is that changing things?
Well, I think this is a big deal. What Russia essentially is doing is that Putin, in fact, himself, is saying that this is now not just a regional conflict, but this is now becoming a worldwide conflict. And that Russia is actually at war with NATO and the United States.
Another thing that you'll notice from the Western media, they never use the word World War III. They hardly or rarely, if at all, use the word World War III. They will say, oh, Russia is going to be targeting not just Ukraine, other countries, which basically means this is World War III. They don't want to, because you know why? They want people, their, civilians, their population in UK and NATO countries to just, go about their daily business, make money, pay taxes for the government, because if there is a war, then and there is a possibility of war, then nobody will work. No, everybody will just be like, oh, we're so sad and depressed. Western media, they don't want you to feel like that. They want you to be comatose, live your life, pay taxes, go to work every day. We will take care of it. Everything is fine. But everything is not fine, guys. Because of us YouTubers, because we are raising the alarm and and talking about what is exactly happening on the ground, some people are waking up. Otherwise, most of the people in the West, they are still sleeping, thinking, oh, we are just fine. But Russia is not going to let you live in peace at all because you have attacked their country. Imagine if Russia did that with the US today. We'll have a war already. Russia is not going to be backing down. They will not show their weakness. They will show their strength with their nuclear abilities.
And so if you play that out, what they're saying is, for a second, set aside Ukraine, but just look at what Putin is trying to say. We can go after the United States. We can go after NATO. And this is where you get that asymmetric war rhetoric that we just heard a couple minutes ago.
Asymmetric war rhetoric. Come on. Please, CNN, stop this BS. Asymmetric war rhetoric is a rhetoric, just a rhetoric. Unbelievable. These people want us to believe that they're speaking the truth. They're presenting us with facts. I mean, just like how they covered the genocide in Gaza, they want to cover this whole situation unfolding in between Ukraine and Russia and the United States.
They can strike by carrying out sabotage in Europe. They could do something in Asia. There are a lot of things that they can do. They recently may have taken some...
Yeah, that is a possibility that they can do some sabotage attack. Yeah, you're going on the right path. Then listen.
Steps in the Baltic Sea. So this is where it gets dangerous. But again, part of this is that the United States, we could argue that Biden held himself back because of his fear that it would go too far. And that temporizing ultimately was a bad policy. So this,
Biden is holding himself back? Are you kidding me? Like, these reporters are completely nonsensical, total BS, total rubbish. Biden is not holding himself back. He already attacked Russia. I mean, this is why we have to go to people like Scott Reeder and Douglas McGregor and those real military analysts instead of listening to these people who are just fake, bogus journalists and analysts. That's what they call themselves. Biden is not holding himself back. He attacked Russia. He is giving Ukraine nuclear weapon, which would mean Russia will use nuclear weapon on Ukraine. Make no mistake. If that happens, if Ukraine gets a nuclear weapon, and they're still calling it, Biden is holding, and now he's not only giving them weapon and all that, he's also giving them more and more money every single day. So this pro-Biden, pro-Zionist, pro-genocide journalists, they absolutely have no clue what they're talking about. And you know why? Most of the time when we see a major escalation takes place, or when we see that we're at the very close to a war, nuclear war or any kind of war, it is because of some people's stupidity, like these people.
I think the West has to be realistic, as Spider was saying, how dangerous this is. But on the other hand, it can't necessarily have Putin dictate and, make the West so afraid that it's incapable of taking any action.
Putin is not making anybody afraid. Putin is not dictating anything. Their demand is just as it would be for the U.S. had Cuban deployed weapons, missiles against the U.S. It is very, very simple. Nobody's dictating. They take it as a competition. It's a big ego thing. The Western media, they amplify this false narrative that somehow Putin is coming after us. He cannot have the highway. We are here. Hello. We have nuclear weapon too. We have money too. But it is not about that. It is about common sense. Russia doesn't want Ukraine to become part of NATO. They do not want Ukraine to have nuclear weapon because the Ukrainian government is not friendly with Russia. Does it make no sense? Come on, guys. These people are just absolutely fake. Faux journalists. This is faux journalism. I have some comments